Hey guys, what's going on? So I promised y'all some more robot videos. And here we have the Samsung 7040. It's a little bit older robot. You can still buy it at some stores. This is a Darth Vader edition, and this is the one that doesn't have the motor on the top. Well, technically it does, but it doesn't have the cylinder style up top. So this one has this collection bin, and one of the big issues with this is whenever you push it in, it'll be fine for a little bit, but over time it works its way up and pops out while it's cleaning. And this issue is actually related to a faulty part. And I think that's why they revamped the version. So let me go ahead and move the camera and show y'all. Sorry, this one, it's really glossy, so the lights really reflect. Okay, so here is the little clip. When you push down the button, it pops it up. Well, the problem is, if you look right here, it cracks. I don't know if I can get my hand up there. See how it cracks? And when it cracks, it loses its rigidity. So any force will pop it up. So in this video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a little bit of super glue and we're gonna fix that issue. So hang tight. So with that being said, there's a couple different ways you could do this. Let's see if I can get a good angle for y'all. Let me wipe the lens off. All right, that should be a little bit better. So this crack is pretty decent. And we could take the robot apart and take this all the way off, but most people aren't gonna wanna dig that deep into this robot to fix it. So what we're gonna do is grab some super glue, a flathead screwdriver, and we're gonna pry it up and put some super glue in there and hopefully not glue the mechanism to itself. Okay, so what I got was a little screwdriver, and I'm gonna try a couple different spots just to see. Okay, that spot, if you put it in the corners, it really folds it out just as good as in the middle. So what we're gonna do is grab our super glue, and unfortunately mine was sealed shut, so I got super glue all over my fingers now. Hopefully I don't super glue my finger to this while making this video. But we're gonna spread it apart and dab just a tad bit of super glue on it. And then I'm gonna roll it back. Make sure I can see. And I'm gonna stick it in the other side and just a little bit in there. Just enough to where we think it'll fill that void. Seal it down and then push. And while you're doing this, just make sure, blow on it a little bit. Since you have a flathead, you can also take off any little bit of edge that it leaves while doing it. Try to make it as nice as possible, because what we need is good contact on the inside of this piece of plastic and not necessarily on the outside. We're gonna hold it for just a couple minutes and hopefully it'll stick and hold itself down. You could get a piece of tape to hold it down. And also what you can do is there's a spring in here. The bottom there's a spring, and that spring has a lot of tension, and that I also believe, in my opinion, is one of the reasons this breaks. Not only that, but people not pushing the button all the way in. What you can do is you can actually tape this spring down, and that will stop all that pressure from building up on this. The only problem is it does make it getting it out a lot harder. So just be aware of that. If you're okay with putting a piece of tape on top of this as a handle, you could do that and just tape the spring down and it will hold fine with the gaskets. Remember to move the button, make sure you don't glue the button to it. All right, okay, it's holding pretty good. I'm gonna let that sit for a few minutes and then we'll come back and check on it. Okay, so while that's drying, let's talk about this spring a little bit more. So this spring has quite a bit of force on it to pop it up, and I don't believe it needs that much. And one thing I'm gonna try to do in a later video is remove that spring and change it to something a little bit smaller with not as much force. But if you take and push that down, and you can get some tape that'll hold that down, or if you want to just tack it in with some super glue, this will sit right down in it and it won't move. Now, you will have to take a piece of tape, fold it over, and make a little handle so you can pull it in and out when you press the button. But if that's not a big deal to you, that's going to be, honestly, the easiest solution to this. Because right here, this needs to make a good seal right here, and to do that, it's got to be all the way down. Whenever these break like this and they push up, the problem is you lose your vacuum seal right here, and that's why it doesn't pick up as good as it used to. Okay, so I tested mine out, and it didn't hold, but I only waited a few minutes like I said in the previous clip. Reading this one, I thought it was the fast drying. It's not. This is 15 minutes. So I'll come back in 15 minutes and show you all the results. So I put a little bit more glue on, and I did get a little bit on my button, but we're going to check on it in about 5 minutes, push the button down, make sure it hasn't got stuck. If it did, it'd be a simple fix. All right, it's been about 30 minutes. It's dry. Button is still nice and loose. All right, and here we have it. So, as you can see, it's holding it down now. I can pop it up and down, but you see how much force is on it that this side is poking out. And that has to do with that spring down here. Now, one way that we could fix this and not get that to break is if you don't have a broken one already, when you push the button down, push this down, hold it, and pull it out very gently. Because when it releases, it's got a lot of force, and I really believe that's contributing to it. So let's see if a basic piece of the Scotch tape. I don't think Scotch tape's going to hold it. I really think you're going to need some heavy-duty packing tape, but I don't have any in the garage right now. So let's just do a test. Let's just see if we can limit the force by just a little bit. Oh no, yeah, you're definitely gonna need to either glue it or do some packing tape. You could always use hot glue even. Hot glue might hold that down. We'll do an experiment later on with it. Not sure how it comes out. I haven't done a full teardown video of this robot yet. So these are new to me even, so. Oh, there it is. Aha! All right. And that's that little spring right there, and it's got a lot of force. You could even just cut a couple wraps off. So let's leave that out real quick and just put this in there. All right, it holds in there. It's nice and firm. Okay. And to get it out, what I was mentioning earlier, is you would take a piece of tape like this. It's probably too much, but we'll make a nice little handle right here. Put that on there, and then when we push the button, we can pull it right out. And it holds it. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to need tension or not on it, but we can test it just to see if it will give us any errors really quick. We're on this plywood. Be nice to see how the cliff sensors work anyway on this. Power it up. Do its countdown. Okay, we got 2 bars of battery on it. Keep your spring and everything together. We're going to count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's going to start sounding like a Death Star or a spaceship. Oh, lightsaber. All right. Wow, this thing stops with some force. And I can see that being the issue with people saying that they're... Okay, so it works like that. So that's good to know. So you don't need that in there, which is awesome. So we learned something new about this robot is if it's breaking and not holding tight, you can definitely, whoops, actually hit the button. Go ahead and power her off. We can definitely take that spring out and reduce that tension and keep this in there. Let's go ahead and put us a piece of masking tape on there for now. Make a nice sized handle. So we'll go right here. And then we can just, oh, masking tape won't do it. So we will need at least Scotch tape. Preferably a piece of packing tape would be the best. I really need to bring some out here when I do videos. Let's go ahead and just get us a little handle. Voila, it comes right out. And what we could do, just to put this back in there so we don't lose it. It's probably gonna be hard to get out now. Don't do that. I'm about to make a little handle for that now and then pop it out. But we will definitely, I'm not worried about it now. I'm gonna experiment with it. So we can definitely just keep that in there for safety, safekeeping. Keep the spring on a shelf. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the automotive shelf. And we'll dive deeper into this robot as time goes on. I do plan to make a lot of videos on these. So guys, if you have a 740, 750, 730, 760, and 770, any of these models with this and it's not staying in, the dustbin isn't staying in, that is one way that you can fix this issue. I know this was a little bit longer video, but we went over the issue that it was having, why it wouldn't stay in, and how to fix it. Two ways actually, removing the spring and just gluing it. So gluing it would work, but there was a lot of tension on this side, so we want to make sure that it works all the time. We removed that issue by removing the spring. So now I'm going to do some testing with this, and then I'll start tearing it apart so everyone can see. This being the Star Wars edition, I really hate to tear into it because I'm not the biggest Star Wars geek, but I have to say this is a pretty cool model. So if you want to see more content on these guys, definitely hit that like button and subscribe for more. I will be making probably 10 to 15 videos just on these, this model, the 730, the 790, or whatever they are. I'm not sure of model numbers yet. I just got this one. I know this is 740. I know they make a lower model, which is 730, and I know they make at least 3 models above it, so a 7, all the way up to a 770. But thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned.